welcome back to Beauty Bee and to a get ready with me using my Shop My Stash products. I already have primer on both my face and my eyes, and I've done my brows. So I'm going to just hop in with concealer and foundation, which I've just been doing at the same time, because this has almost no coverage and it is a tiny bit too dark, even though it has very little coverage to it. And this is, I used to think this was too light, but I think it's really just about the right color. It's just a little less red than my skin tone, which, I don't know, isn't a problem. I'm good with that. So I've been just dotting this all over my face, then getting about a pump of this, dotting that all over as well. We'll call that good. Spread a little bit of that on my neck so there's not a harsh line. And then buffing it in with this brush, which has hair on it, so we'll get rid of that. And I find that it gives me just a tiny bit of coverage, and it's right around the right color. So sort of the best of both worlds for me. And the most noticeable dot on my face is right there. And I don't put foundation there because I do not want to ingest my foundation over the day as I am drinking. Okay, so I managed to knock my earrings around quite a bit, so I'm sure that made some lovely noise. Now I'm going to set all of this down, and for that what I've been using is this little sample of the KVD translucent powder. I decided it's time to use this up because I've had it for a year and a half now. So I just dip into the same brush. I'm pretty sure that's not what you're really supposed to do, but it's what I do. I'm sure that this has more than a little bit of a white cast to it, but white cast doesn't tend to be a problem for me, so it works. Managed to get powder everywhere. Okay, I think that's looking good from the viewfinder, but in the mirror, also good. Excellent. Now my plan is to do a pretty dark lip. I want to do sort of a mixture of these two colors, I think. I feel like this definitely gives the sort of witchy fall vibes that I'm looking for today, but I think it might be a little bit much considering the eyeshadow that I want to do. So I'm hoping that putting this down first will lighten this up just a little bit. We'll see. I don't know how this is going to go, but I'm going to start with that. Don't fall. We're off to a great start. I can't stay inside my lip line. Okay, so that's not the neatest, but I was able to scratch off most of the excess, and I think it's passable at this point. So I'm gonna wait a second for that to dry and talk about a little bit of the rest of my plan. I think I'm going to go for a pretty warm cheek, and then on the eyes, I shopped my stash for, goodness, this palette from e.l.f. And I recently made a Shadow in this Rose in the Air palette. I mean, I think you can guess which one is my Shadow because it's the one that no one else would ever want to touch. And I think that with the combination of these shades, I'm gonna make a really warm eye. Maybe use some of this in the transition, a little bit of these two colors of this color in the crease. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. Okay, I feel like I've waited long enough for this to dry. Yeah, the pat test agrees. So let's see how these layer. I know that this is a little bit patchy in its first coat, so I'm hoping it'll go well. I'm not sure, but I do feel like this is a little lighter than the lipstick by itself usually is. That line is not good. Okay. Yeah, I'm not actually sure that did anything different than just putting on this would have, but maybe it's a little bit lighter. I will need to clean this up, but I feel like there's probably a better strategy to removing liquid lipstick than just scratching at it, but I don't know what that is, so yeah. All right, now for the eyes. I think what I want to do is lay down my crease first, so I'm going to use this shade on this brush. And I'm going to put that right in the crease area. Often I sort of blend up into the transition area, but I don't, not today. Okay. So I've got the crease down. Now I think the plan is to have the shade on the outermost part of my lid. So I'll just do that first. Just going in with my finger, put that on the outer corner. Now on the other side. Not sure that this really goes together, but it's okay. It's all okay. Now I'm going to use this shade that I made. It's actually quite coppery, if I can actually get a good swatch. Ooh, let's not do that. I think I need to figure out, I think I need to watch some tutorials on how to make good Franken shadows. Because this one's really crumbly and flaky, but I mean, it looks really pretty once you apply it. So obviously I didn't do like a terrible job. I'm just putting that through sort of the inner half, I guess, of my eye. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I was kind of torn when I made this about how reddish it was, but I think it's actually working out really well. Okay, so that's looking good. Now I want to do sort of an inner corner and then bring it in to meet the shade. And let's wipe off the excess off my fingers so I don't accidentally make a mess. Aren't those impressive? I just think the pigment is so surprising on those elf shadows. What am I looking for? Inner corner. For that, I'm going to use this little detail brush in this golden shade. And try not to make a mess. Again, that's kind of a recurring theme in my videos. Okay. I do think I want to put it just a little bit further underneath my eye as well. Okay. Repeat on the other side. I think that's good. Now, I'm just going to wipe that off on this washcloth. And I think I'm going to use that darkest sort of bronzy shade. Same brush. And I'm going to line under my eye. Meet all the way across to meet up with the highlight. Okay, so it's looking good. I am going to add just a little bit more of a transition shade, and for that I'm going to go into this shade, which is helpfully labeled Transition. I'm just going to tap a tiny bit of that onto this crease brush. This is a bigger and fluffier crease brush than the one I was using earlier. And I'm going to blend above where I placed the crease shade. Where is it? There it is. Okay. I do want some brow bone highlight, but for that I'm going to go into this matte cream shade on a shader brush. Struggling with words today. Just pop that right under the brow. Now my cheeks need some color. They look pretty deathly right now. So I'm going to use my Milk Makeup lip and cheek tint, which comes off quite warm, at least on my skin tone. And I'm going to leave it just like that, or, you know, maybe blend it in. Whichever works for you. I think what I'm learning more and more is that lighter skin tones really can pull off darker lipsticks. They just need to have a lot of blush to go with it to not look really washed out. Okay, so there's the cream blush. I think I'm going to sort of lock that in with a layer of powder blush, and for that I'm going to use this Rosé Champagne, sort of a shimmery peach from Wet n Wild. Fluffy blush brush, load it up, and go over pretty much the entire area where I put the other shade. I find that helps the wear time throughout the day. Or I guess not wear time exactly, but it helps the texture on my skin throughout the day. And highlight, because we don't know when to stop around here. Go into this sort of peachy gold highlight. I know Wet n Wild wants to claim these are blushes, but I've just given up on using them as anything but a highlighter. Okay, so again, mascara, because that's an important thing. Oh, I brought over my liners because I wanted to do a wing. I don't think I'm going to do a wing, but I do think I'm going to add little dots along my lower lash line. For that I'm going to use this black liquid liner. Okay, so I actually messed up on this side and drew just one line, so I added tiny little lines along both sides, and I think it's very cute. I keep getting tempted to do more and more, but that we need to squash that impulse. And actually I do want a little bit of highlight right along my clavicle. I'm going to use the Pure Nude highlight for that though, because I think the Wet n Wild one will be just a little too peachy. Same brush though. Okay, I think that's looking good. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you'll consider liking and subscribing if you did. Hope to see you next time. Bye!